Hello, my friends. It's Huey again. However, I was intending to do one of these a day, and I've already failed that because I didn't upload anything yesterday. But I have a pretty good excuse. It's mostly because I was very busy yesterday. Very, very busy. I went to work 5 a.m. to 9 a.m., which is my new sort of schedule now. And on top of that, I can't even remember if I mentioned it in the introductory video, but I saw Of Montreal live out in 191 Tool, and it was a 2.5 hour drive, and I only found that out the day before. No, I think it was the day of the. No, it was the day before the intro. I found that out. I didn't realize it was that far away, and I don't usually drive that long at a time. It's possible for me to do it, but I'm not too used to it. And there was almost a moment where I rear-ended someone on the 202 because a lot of sudden stops from a lot of cars. But I made it unscathed. My car actually started up each time, which was very nice. I was very worried about it breaking down or something. I really gotta get it fixed up somehow. But what are my thoughts on the concert? Well, first of all, it was the Of Montreal is I hate calling things by very specific genre names, but it's classified as Baroque pop, which is Baroque is a style, and pop is a style, and it's I don't really know the definition of Baroque, to be honest, but it makes sense in my head. It's kind of like a theatrical, kind of orchestral, exaggerated type of pop. And they've been around since the 90s. 97, I think, was when their first album, Cherry Peel, came out, which is a pretty good album. It's kind of got a neutral milk hotel style going on, and it's pretty good. Now, the rest of their early stuff, I actually have a hard time really remembering, because I've only listened to most of their albums once. But I have a lot of appreciation for David Barnes' style. They have an insane vocal range. I love the way they dress. And the fact that they're like 50-something years old. I don't even know if they're 50 years. I think they are about like 50-something. Maybe late 40s, maybe late 30s. I can't really remember. And their like non-binary is really cool and makes me look forward to growing up because, retaining the very accepting and invigorating kind of feelings, even in a somewhat older middle-aged age, is really inspiring to me. But I got into Of Montreal back in 2021 when I was driving home from my Chewy warehouse job. I used to listen to Discover Weekly very often, and one of the people like to complain about Discover Weekly on Spotify. That's my method of listening to music right away, is mostly Spotify. If I really have to, sometimes YouTube, and if I really, really have to, sometimes it'd be Bandcamp. But the song that came up was My Past is a Grotesque Animal, which is a 11-minute long song. And at the time I was like, oh, this song is like absurdly long, like 11 minutes? That's obscene. Like, you can't have a song be that long. It's funny to look back at now, considering I've listened to albums such as Feet Always Cold by Joey Duran and While I Was, and a lot of Swans albums. are some of my favorite albums of all time, but I'm not going to talk about those yet. Um, and eventually, like it also was the era when I was listening to that song where I really only indulged in like trip hop and video game soundtrack stuff. I was really into C418, who I will also would love to get really into as a discussion at some point. And Daft Punk, same thing applies. Um, but this like pop rock over exaggerated vocals song I was really into. And that's not the kind of thing I really would indulge in. Um, Flash forward a couple years later, I was really into listening to full albums, and I decided to give Hissing Fauna, Are You the Destroyer, a listen, which is this album right here. Now I bought this from this vinyl cover isn't the one that's on digital. I kind of wish I had the original version, which has some circles like on both ends, kind of obscuring this pattern right here. But this is kind of Montreal signature style. But I listened to it, and I really, really enjoyed it. It's got this, and it's by far my favorite of Montreal album thus far. The sound is really unique. David Barnes's vocals are just insane. Whenever I try to sing to the songs on it, my voice just dies. I cannot sing that high, but they can just do it as many times as they want to, and there's just so many memorable moments on it, such as I'm trying to. I don't even know if I'm allowed to say this on YouTube, but like the song "Bunny Ain't No Kind of Writer," which is one of my favorites on it. Like the Eva, I'm sorry, but you will never have me. You're just some gay slur, girl, and I need a lover with soul power, and you ain't got no soul power. There's that moment which I just love singing to. By the way, I am gay, so I have the pass. I'm not gonna say it here though, because YouTube might not like that. And then another song later on it, which is the song titles are very long, by the way, so it's hard for me to remember. Fuck, what was it called? So there was Bunny Ain't No Kind of Writer. Whatever. The point is, David Barnes is playing this character throughout it and becomes a alter ego with the song My Past is a Grotesque Animal, and becomes this huge, like, jerk, like, huge asshole of a man. Well, man, woman, they, them, any pronouns, who just is so, like, wanting affection and just isn't getting any, and he just gets so bitter. And one of my favorite hooks on a later song is, how does it go? It's, this is the problem with having no editing or cuts, is whenever I forget something, I just forget it. But he says, there's a girl who made me bitter, want to pay some other girl to just walk up to her and hit her, but I can't. It's like, it's such a memorable line, and it's just like, this guy's such a dick. Oh my god. Like, there's something I really like about that characterization. And it just fits the whole aesthetic the album's going for. So yeah, Hissing Fauna, Are You the Destroyer is a really good album. But that's as far as my knowledge of Montreal was before I saw this concert. Because now we're going to go back to my thoughts on the concert. Again, longest drive I've gone. I've never been to 191 Tool, but it had a very strange setup of, it's like, it's a normal bar. I couldn't bring a bag inside for some reason. I had this very small, mind you, thin backpack. It's like a bag that you just like go like that and it tightens. You probably know what I'm talking about. And I wasn't allowed to bring that in. It was too big. Apparently that was too big. And the thing that sucks extra was that I had booty shorts. I was wearing booty shorts because I really wanted to show who I truly am to this very like accepting and LGBTQ community that likes of Montreal's music. I had this dragon patterned tank top that I've gotten from A&E 2024, and I also had YHWH, which is a band I would love to talk about eventually, booty shorts. And I was planning on carrying my extra things, like my phone, my wallet, my, car keys, in the bag, and I could go to the gift shop immediately, buy what I want, because I prefer to go to the gift shop before the show starts, because stuff just runs out very quickly. There's very limited supply of that stuff. And then, but again, I couldn't bring the bag in, so I had to go back to my car and had to put on these shitty lounge pants that I was not intending to wear at this venue, and I just looked like a schlub. I looked like such a gross schlub. But no one seemed to give me like terrible ideas, or like no one really looked at me bad or anything. It's hard for me to socialize at concerts. I'd love to get better at it, but it just is. Especially when it's so loud and I have to like talk very loudly. It's hard for me to enunciate in loud volumes. But the show starts, and the pre-show, the guest appearance is Barefoot on Butterbees, and they're pretty good. It's a two-person band between a man and a woman. I can't remember their names, I'm sorry, I apologize. But look them up. Barefoot on Butterbees. They're pretty good. The man who isn't, there's not really a front man or like lead vocalist in it. It's kind of just between the two. One of them's on drums. She's really cool. I like her tattoos, and she just has a really good personality. She did a lot of crowd work, which I thought was really cool. You don't really see that very often. And the man who played banjo, and it was like a light up banjo. It had like a light, like it was just light up. Was usually doing vocals, but it has this like low fidelity style to it. Like the vocal sound is like kind of got that muffled thing going on. And it's hard to tell what they're saying, but it's not really the whole focal point. The whole focal point is to have this very chill, nice thing you can just like groove to and just enjoy the vibes of it. And the name of the band I really like, because it's kind of got that hippie aesthetic going on. And the vocalists, the man, his hair is just fucking peak. It looks so good. And I just overall like this outfit. He's quite hot, I'll say. He's a very hot man. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I really liked the personality. Now, we're going to talk about Montreal's performance, and it's beyond words how to describe this. If there's a nearby Sundelic Twins 20th anniversary showing on tour, you should go see it, and not listen to me on this part, because it's so cool to see it completely blind. But now that they're gone, I'm going to talk about the performance, because it was not what I was expecting at all. It starts with I watched them. I usually like to watch the performers set up for it. I just like doing it. It's really fun. I keep fucking hitting this thing. I should stop doing that. It's very loud. Um, and I see them in average clothing, including David Barnes, just wearing like a blue polo and like these like they're not like corduroys, but they're like dress pants. And I was like, okay, so they're doing kind of a like ironic wearing very average clothing for a band that is super not avant-garde, but over the top and theatrical and crazy and positive and LGBTQ. But then they get off the stage before it started. The music comes in. After a long pause, by the way, they set up everything and then there was a long pause. They come back. It starts with like drummer, wearing a pretty like he changes outfit. It's kind of got this like blue, not blue, red and yellow aesthetic because that's the aesthetic of the Sunderland Twins. And I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, by the way. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing it. They walk on stage, and the drummer comes in, bass player comes in. He has an insane outfit. He's basically just wearing overalls. These red overalls with sewn-in patches that are different, like fiery symbols, and it's like, ooh, that's hot. And then the keyboardist or the synthesizer, like the MIDI sounds comes in. He's wearing like this red like undervest, but it had like sleeves, and it had like a fur pelt going around his shoulder, which I thought was quite a serve. And he also had like this manual plush constantly on his keyboard the whole time. And I thought he was gonna like move it out of the way once the show started, but he kept it there the whole time. And I love Palace cats, so I've like seen that. And then David Barnes comes in, not wearing the blue polo with the dress pants, but instead wearing a pink beret. What else was it? A vest with the open chest and a skirt. It's all like pink and yellow, with red rose-colored glasses, literally. And I'm like, that's the David Barnes I know. That's what I was waiting for. And then, but before he walked in, actually, sorry, two people in white morph suits walk on the stage. And everyone cheered. I was like, oh, those are the Sunderland Twins. The projector comes on, and they superimposed the album cover as the backing, and the Sunderland Twins in the album cover shine perfectly on these morph suits, and it looks like they're actually standing there. And I thought that was so cool. And I was like, oh, so that's what all the tape on the stage was for. That's so cool. And I was like so excited. Everyone else was. And then they get into it. And it's basically just, the track list was just the Sunderland Twins, which I've never experienced that. Usually it's just like a mix of songs, mostly from the new album they release. But they just did the whole album, and that was exciting for me. Especially since I only listened to it like twice. And it was really exciting hearing the certain songs I know and love. However, the thing that made it extra special was those backup dancers leave, and then they come back with new outfits for each and every song, and they have a whole choreographed thing going on. The first outfit was the white morph suits that represent the Sunderland Twins. The second one was them wearing like similar morph suits, but with like lightning bolts on the face and cattails. So furry representation, which I appreciate. And then after that was these like crow heads, along with these like BDSM-esque like straps over their chest, and like a big feather boa that's black, and they're like doing the sensual dance and the the masculine dancer goes up to the stage and gives us a nip slip, and that was fucking exciting, man. They rocked it so good. Um, what else was there? There was like one where they had like these disco ball, like a disco ball outfit. They had like a big helmet, and everything was just like reflecting off of them. There was one where they had these huge dresses, like with huge gowns that were white, and they had like these kind of like protogen esque masks that had LEDs going on with like different expressions changing. The amount of outfits there was insane, and it's only like half of them. And they all sort of connected to each song on it, and but by far two of the most interesting parts. One of them was they created like this. It looks like a Japanese kami of some kind, and what that. And it's hard to describe it. That's why I'm calling it that. Something very specific. It was like a thing with several eyes, and it had a big gown and two like insect wings sticking out of it. And the way they did it was they had three backup dancers for it. They all had masks that were like eyeballs, and they carried in like this. They're all wearing like this big cloth, and then one of them stands on top of a crate they set up earlier in the set, and then they both stand next to each other and hold up these wings, and then have a projector hit it, and it puts more eyes on the body of the creature they're designing, or like set up. And it was like, whoa, okay, that's probably the big set piece of the whole thing. The most work the backup dancers are gonna do, the biggest thing they're gonna put on the performance, right? Wrong. In the final track, they bring out a giant marionette thing made out of cloth and paper mache. It has like these paper mache hands and these big cloth arms that they're all puppeteering, and it has like a big head that's like a flat piece of cardboard, and a like circle shaped whiteboard in front of it that changes planets. And this sounds like I'm describing complete nonsense, but I don't know how else to describe this. And they puppeteer it by moving its arms left and right, and they're just playing the music over it. And it's so, like, whoa, like, that's amazing. I could never have imagined that something that big would enter. Then the album part ends, and they just start playing, songs that people really enjoyed. One of them being a few songs from Hissing Fauna, which got me very excited. And this is when my voice died during the performance, because I was just singing along with them. And the outfits the backup dancers had for these ones were very appropriate and kind of what I expected out of a Hissing Fauna play. For example, in the first one, they do Suffer for Fashion. They had the backup dancers wear these skull masks with really long hair, and like no shirt, I think, and like they come in like piggyback riding while doing this, like it's a motorcycle, and it's like that's so appropriate for Hissing Fauna. I love it. It's so good. And by the end of that, they finish off. I don't know what the encore was. Oh yeah, the encore. What was the encore? I feel like I should know. It's just the performance itself, because they bring out this huge string of. Well, I guess the encore technically was all the extra songs, but they bring out this big string of balloons, like a rope of balloons, and they hand it out to the crowd, and they pass it around the crowd like everywhere. And I thought that was like awesome, and it was just really fun. I never got to grab it, but just seeing it is what matters. I loved seeing that. It's really cool. Never seen another performance do that. And it ends, and it was such a satisfying, fun performance. I also had a person next to me that threw a bouquet of flowers, like fake flowers, and I was like, yes. I love that as well. And it was a really good audience. I love the audience. It wasn't too crowded. However, I think the one thing I had a problem with in the whole performance was the kick drum was way too loud. I just wish they mixed it lower. I don't know if it was because the venue was like that, but when Barefoot Butterbees played, it sounded fine. It sounded like no complaints about it. But when Montreal started, the kick drum was just kind of a bit of a wall of noise that I don't think they intended to be as loud as it was. Because I love to hear. A thing about of Montreal I really like is the amount of different sounds that are in it that are super intricate, but the kick drum just kind of made the rest hard to hear, and I don't think that's really what they wanted. I feel like if they just turned it down a little, because the sound was fine, if they just made it a little bit less loud, I think it would have worked out much better. I was wearing earplugs, because I usually wear earplugs, maybe that was why. Or maybe just the venue doesn't work as well with their sound, since it seemed like a much more of a, metal rock type of venue, but still, I kind of wish it wasn't so loud. And that was my live experience of Montreal. I really loved it. Now, since I forgot to record one yesterday, well, not really forgot, but just couldn't. I was too tired. I'd probably be very, very, on the brink of falling asleep if I tried to record yesterday. But I'll talk about each artist that I have personally seen live, in person, actually in person. The first artist I saw live was Imagine Dragons. Now, this wasn't one I purposefully went to. It was my family, and they thought, hey, we got tickets to see Imagine Dragons live, and then we saw them live. And honestly, I look back at this time very poorly, because I was super, it was really loud, for a little child like I was. I was probably 12, yeah, because that's when Night Visions came out. So it was directly after their first album was released, and there's not really much I can remember about it except I was just kind of this the whole time, and I was just kind of stressed out. There was so much noise, and I was kind of just watching the music while sat down 50 miles away from the performance, and there's not really much I can take away from that. I kind of wish I wish that didn't happen to me, but because I don't really like going to venues. I guess it only happened once, but when there's a huge stadium for an artist, you have this disconnect where you're super far away from them. You might as well just be watching it on your phone. And while you're there, and the sound is more loud and engaging as ever, and the audience you're actually physically interacting with, but the people you go there for is the main spectacle of the show, and you're not even close enough to really engage with it. And on the jumbotrons, it's yeah, I guess there's a better camera angles, but I could see that on my phone if I really wanted to, or at home on my PC, which is kind of a shame. That's why I can't really see someone like Kendrick Lamar live. One, because it'd be super expensive, but two, for good seats that are not too expensive, you have to sit so far away from it. But yeah, we actually left the Imagine Dragons concert early because I was being such a pathetic, whiny prick at the time. And I just look back at that time very awkwardly. It's not happy about. I feel like I was a bit of a dick, but I was 12. I didn't know any better. The second live performance I've seen was Car Seat Headrest. which it shouldn't be too surprising that I'm into them. I saw them at the Van Buren. Oh yeah, I guess I'll mention the Imagine Dragons. I saw them at the Footprint Center, but I think they changed the name to the State Farm Stadium. But Current Seat Headrest I saw at the Van Buren in the same city, Phoenix, and it was probably the moment I was like, I figured out how much I really liked Car Seat Headrest. Because beforehand, I was like, I didn't really care for Twin Fantasy very much. But I could probably get more into that when I see Car Seat Headrest, when I talk about Car Seat Headrest definitively on this channel. But yeah, that was one where it was really like captivating for me. It made me really happy, and I haven't, and I was at a time in my life where I was pretty upset about everything. And then after that was A.V. Tear, who is a part of Animal Collective. And I really like A.V. Tear's music. Usually solo careers people don't really care for, but I enjoyed it. It was very low key, and that's something I really liked about it. It was at the Valley Bar in Arizona, which is a really cool venue. You should totally check out the Valley Bar. It's like in an alleyway, and you go down a basement of like one specific building, and there's just this really cool bar that has like, what is that thing where they roll the ball and it like lands into a slot? I can't remember what they call that. Something ball, alley ball, I don't remember. They had some of those. They had some arcade cabinets, or they have. They also have this really cool light show piece of art above the bar area. They have really good drinks, really good mocktails. I'd really check out Valley Bar. It's really cool. But I'll get into A.V. Tear another time. After A.V. Tear, who else did I see live? It's hard for me to remember after that. Was it... I think it was Swans. I saw Swans live. If you couldn't tell, I'm a Swans fan through and through. Which I really enjoyed. It's probably my favorite live performance I've ever seen. But I'm actually seeing them again this year in September, which I'm very excited for because the first time was amazing. Hanging Man live, so much better than the digital version. But I'll get into that another time, because that'll be probably a lot of times actually, because there's a lot to say about Swan's discography, at least for me. After that was, what else was there? I think it was Shoo Shoo after that. Shoo Shoo was a really fun one, but weirdly enough, oh yeah, no, I completely forgot. After A.V. Tear was King Cruel, which, outside of the Imagine Dragons concert, might be my least favorite concert-going experience by far. And I think it has to do with the fact that a lot of King Cruel's music is all about the vibey stoner aesthetic, which is fun about it, but I listen to it really emotionally, at least for me, which might sound pretentious, but the emotional impact of those albums really hits me. And there's a lot of people just weirdly judgmental and just kind of rude at that concert. There was a lot of like, I don't know, it was really crowded. This was out in Portland, by the way. I forget the name of the theater it was at, but it was in Portland, since King Cruel never really plays in Arizona, even though there's a lot of people here that are very King Cruel coded, I guess, for lack of a better term, and I really wish it wasn't such a huge concert, but what can you do? I was in like the middle spot, and everything was very far away. It was still really exciting. Still had a lot of fun. I really liked hearing the songs I know and love. I know every song by King Cruel like the back of my hand, so it was a little bit less exciting than it could be. Also, this was for Space Heavy. And the pre-show was Slauson Malone, which was fucking awesome because I figured out who Slauson Malone was a little bit before I saw the show. Like, it was just complete coincidence. I didn't even know Slauson Malone was going to be there, but I really enjoyed it. But a lot of people were just kind of rude about it because it's not the kind of music you'd expect to see or hear. A lot of screaming really loud in the microphone, which in my opinion, super powerful stuff. Especially the way he does it. That voice of his is crazy. The vibes are off the charts. They had a cello player on the stage. It was really cool. But people were like, "Oh, this is not it. This is so loud and it's weird. I don't like it." It just made me mad. Also, I couldn't get the Ooze on vinyl when I was there. I had to stick with Man Alive, which I love Man Alive, but the Ooze is one of my favorite albums. So that concert going experience is definitely the worst out of all of mine. After that, I think was Swans, and then after that is Shoo Shoo. The Shoo Shoo concert was super up close and personal, which I thought was really cool. It was at the Rebel Lounge in Arizona, which is a very small venue, but kind of cruddy, but in a way that is really charming. I haven't had any of the drinks there, but it's pretty neat, and I like the venue's design and the just like it felt like a house venue or something, but it's not. It feels like it though. It's pretty cool. The pre-show for that one was Anxiety Machine, who does drone metal stuff with synthesizers, and he does it all by himself. Hearing it live is really cool. And then Belgium Tree. Belgium Tree is really special, actually, in my opinion. Belgium Tree has like no listens on Spotify. They're local from Arizona, and it's like five guys, and they're just having the best time of their life on stage. They're really good performers. You should totally check out Belgium Tree. But yeah, seeing Shoo Shoo live was really cool. I really liked seeing the people there. They were so homosexual, so trans, so lesbian, so cat girl, trans, all the things, all of the letters, everything. I loved seeing all those people. I loved them to death. Worst part about it was I should have moved in the crowd. I was in such a bad position. This one person, I mean no ill will, but they were standing very still and constantly putting their arm on top of their head, making it extra hard for me to see past them. And they're a tall person, and I just so badly wanted to move, man. I should have done it though, because I need to be more Chad coded at concerts and fucking get in the front. Because fuck these people, they're too tall. And usually I'm very like, I like to check behind me a lot of times at concerts because I don't want a person that's shorter than me, like constantly having to do this constantly. Like I don't, because I've experienced that and I hate it. I don't want anyone else to experience it. I'm just ranting at this point, but the Shoo Shoo concert was very cool. It's hard to really explain it because I want to get into Shoo Shoo another time. I don't have a lot of content for this channel in the backlog in my head, I guess. But I was able to buy the booty shorts, as I mentioned before. A Promise on vinyl, but not the one with the penis on it, and I'm really sad it wasn't that one. It was the one with the baby sitting on top of a door. You probably have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about, but the original album cover for I Promise is one of my favorite album covers. It's a Vietnamese sex worker just like sitting on a bed and holding a baby upside down in his hand. And his penis is out, but it had to be censored in the official release using an orange box, which is an homage to a movie. I forget which movie, but it's a movie that Jamie Stewart likes. I'm just going on a tangent, but hey, that's what this is all about. I was also able to get Twin Peaks. Oh no, plays the music of Twin Peaks by Shoo Shoo, which is like a cover album by Shoo Shoo. They put like an industrial sound to it, which might seem blasphemous for some people. I don't blame them for that, but it was really cool. I really love the sound of it, especially the Blue Room song. That one's like crazy. I think about it all the time. Um, as well as there's one more album I got from them. I almost got Knife Play, but I didn't. Oh yeah, wait, no, I got those two albums. What was the last one I got? I can't even remember. It wasn't Ignore Grief. It wasn't Forget. It wasn't Girl a Basket of Fruit, because I already had those. I owned them already. It was those two, and then fuck, what was it? Hold on. I'm gonna look at my profile to remember which Shushu album I bought, because I bought 3. My collection on my Rate Your Music. The good thing about Shushu is you can just search the very bottom of it and it will come up. Because there's not very many artists out there with X in the name. Plays the Music, Twin Peaks, A Promise. I guess those are only 2 albums I got. Never mind. But yeah, those are 2 good albums. I just have a lot of Shushu records in my collection, which I'll get into another time. My record collection. So yeah, and then after Shushu was, what was after Shushu? There was one more, I think. Oh yeah, Kiltro. I saw live. Kiltro was an awesome thing to see live. It was for their album Underbelly, and it was at the Valley Bar. Once again, great venue. And it really fits the aesthetic of the sound of Kiltro, the folk thing that's going on with the really rich and like traditional sound they have. I wish I had a better angle of the performance, but it was still really great. I love how they were able to include like ambience and such into their music. Really good. I forget who was the pre-show for it though, the introductory show. Because I'd love to talk about that too. There probably is some more artists that I'm forgetting. I have not seen stuff like Gorillaz live. I'd love to. It's just too expensive, and also it's going to be at a huge stadium. Yeah, I feel like there's 1 or 2 I'm forgetting. I might just be thinking about the concerts I've been to in Furcons, such as Spring Silver I've seen live. As well as, I almost saw I've Made Too Much Pasta live, but the line was not moving when it was supposed to be. The panel didn't start yet, and I was holding my stuff, and it was like kind of falling out of my hands. It was a nightmare. So that didn't happen. I'm just gonna look through my vinyl collection, see if I'm missing anything that I have seen live. I just can't remember who it was. I think it's just those. I think I've named all of them. Yeah, I've named all of them. There's still so many artists I really want to see live. It's not very many of them really play in Arizona. But yeah, you got to hear about my Of Montreal concert going experience, as well as my just in general concert going experiences in the past. I'll get into more detail with a lot of them if I really have to in other videos that I got in my head, because this is kind of like improv. I don't really have a schedule of this day I'm going to do this day I'm going to do this, because I don't really like that idea. I want this to be a low effort, low low energy, low attention. You don't have to think too hard watching this. You just have it play in the background. You don't have to listen to anything this Greason has to say, because I'm just blabbering. That's all I'm doing here. It's just for my friends. But if there's any new fans somehow, I appreciate it. I really do. I really appreciate anyone that finds this entertaining or just like cute. I like seeing YouTube videos on my feed with like 5 likes, or not 5 likes, but like 5 views like really new videos that like doesn't have a fan base, but they're just uploading, and it just so happened to be in my feed. I love seeing that stuff. My goodies folder on this channel is a bunch of videos like that. Some of them actually have views now, but still, it still applies. But yes, that is the end of this episode. Not every episode is going to be this long. I really went off the rails in this one. It's going to be a long upload time. But yeah, I'm excited to keep making these videos daily. Tomorrow should be easy since I'm off work that day. And I will see you all in the next one. Hopefully I actually record one tomorrow. I promise it. You know what? I promise I'll make another one. Goodbye.